have to ask, who's here from Century 21? That's all I want to know. All right, good for you guys. I just wanted to know if there's a Century 21 agent in the house. That's all. But for the rest of you, relax, don't worry. I'm not doing anything else with specifically Century 21, except I am going to tell a couple of secrets that I've learned from some Century 21 agents, okay? So let me start by telling you a couple things. First of all, well, it would be good if I could forward things. Oh, right, the title of this is Bringing Your A Game. Well, I'm going to do a little bit off of that, but I do candidly want to share with you some inputs and some counsel that I've gained by working with a lot of Century 21 agents across the country. So I know that you guys are hearing clearly from a lot of technologists today, right? I'm sitting back there listening to some really cool apps. I'm writing everyone down just like you are, and I'm probably having a similar reaction to what you are in terms of, oh my gosh, okay, I know I can work that in. And then the next one, oh, that's really cool. Oh, how do I work that in? Oh, what about that one? Let me figure out how to use that one. Oh, I can't use any of these. Forget it. I got these 5 phone calls to return. I better go do it, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that. Whoops, I got to back up a minute there. Sorry. Okay, so you know my name, you know my title. I lead the marketing at Century 21. What that means from a marketing perspective is that I and my team spend all of our time trying to figure out how to increase the preference for the brand for our agents in the market, how to generate leads for them, and how to help them take all that and get to more closed sides, okay? So my vantage point is completely from a marketing perspective, not technology. Doesn't mean I don't use technology, doesn't mean I don't use it, but it's really marketing, okay? So that's sort of the straight scoop. But what's more important, I think, are the items down below. Who the heck am I really? What do I do? And exactly why am I here? So here's who I am. You know, I'm a mom with 3 kids. I have one who's done with college already, one who's in the middle of college, and one who's in high school. So for those of you who know anyone in those age ranges, have your own children in those age ranges, you know that those are unique, particularly as it relates to technology, their mom's use of technology, and their commentary for their mom on that technology. My oldest actually is just graduated. I call him Dr. Wannabe, because he wants to go to medical school. In fact, he's applied. He's going next fall, but it's a great year. We're in that gap year. Any of you who have kids at home? It's always very interesting. But Dr. Wannabe has tons of advice for me all the time about what I should and shouldn't be doing. Now, my second child is in Vanderbilt, not nearly as scientifically oriented. She's the one who uses everything. Doesn't tell me how to use it, but uses Facebook. She creeps on me more than I do on her. She knows everything I'm doing. She's the one who will send me something and say, Mom, what you just posted on Facebook, it's really embarrassing. Get it down now. And then my youngest is the real computer geek. He's the one who knows everything going on. And I'm sure you find that. Kids in high school even know far much more. Now, the reason I share all that with you is because it does pepper a lot of what I do in terms of what I put out to agents and see how they react and they respond to it. What I do on a daily basis, if you will, is not just the classic marketing stuff that we're going to talk about. You know, sometimes I spend a lot of my day in front of and with agents like you, all Century 21 agents at those events, but they are all events where I'm getting to learn everything about what's working for them and what's not working for them. That's what I'm going to share with you a little bit. And I'll tell you, my husband and I have a little business on the side as well, and that is that we own and run a Christmas tree farm. So I get to take a lot of what I know of from the technology that's working at Century 21 and apply it. And it's truly a family business. It's, you know, we started it when my kids were a little bit younger. We really wanted them to understand how important it was to be involved in work, and Christmas tree farm is a lot of outdoor work. For those of you who might think it's really romantic and nice, get over that. Get over it quickly. It's way too much work. But again, it's a great application for me to take some marketing approaches, strategies from the big picture view and apply them down low. So why the heck am I here, though? I'm here because I want to share with you, from a marketing perspective, the counsel that I would give you for technology. You know, one of the things that we do within Century 21 is take best practices and share them and replicate them across the country and across the globe. And what I want to share with you is some of the things I've learned from that. So, clearly I'm making a little play here on the Super Bowl commercial. I hope one or two of you might have seen our commercials on Sunday, particularly those of you from Century 21, right? We had a little bit of fun with that. The reason I mention it here, though, is, guys, honestly, it wasn't just a play for Century 21. It was a play for the industry. It was a strong vote of support for real estate agents in the housing industry now. I mean, the market turned last year, right? We're just in front of the spring selling season. And the fact that people on Super Bowl Sunday had so many conversations about housing, about what the opportunities are, because think about what Super Bowl is, right? It's kind of like a town hall across the country. It's kind of like what I like to think of as the last great American campfire. It brings together all generations, right? You have the young kids, the neighbors, the friends, the relatives, the aunts, the uncles, etc., in some combination, and they're generally within the home. So there was a lot of conversation that took place on Sunday that has to do with what people's lifestyle changes are going to be over the next 6 months that impact you guys. So, I think it's pretty fertile ground for you to capitalize on and function with. But what I want to tell you is, there's a K missing after that 100. There's over 100,000 Century 21 agents. And they communicate with me and I with them on a fairly regular basis, both literally on the road when I'm at events. So whether it's a recognition event that we're doing, whether it's a sales rally event that we're doing, whether it's a broker council meeting, which is a group of brokers in a particular area, I get to see agents, all kinds of agents, all ages. I get to see the top 30 under 30. I get to see older agents, people who've been in the business. Clearly, virtually, online, there are agents who reach to me all the time. Because it doesn't matter what marketing program we put out, I get emails from people who love it, I get emails from people who hate it. Generally in the exact same moment, about the exact same item, too. So I get all those communications. And then literally on social media. Actually, Jimmy and some other folks were helpful in pushing me a couple days ago to open up and launch a new Facebook group. Well, it's not really new, but broaden it a little bit. And over 1,200 agents joined that group just in the weekend alone. They have a lot to tell me. They have a lot that they share with me that I learn from. So that's the basis upon which I want to share with you what I get from them and what I see. I see a lot of successes. It won't surprise you to know that oftentimes those successes are what come to the top of the pile that I see right away. But you know what? I see a tremendous amount of struggles as well. I talk with a lot of agents who've made sort of that valiant attempt to understand how to use technology to market and sell better, and who've failed, who've went to a 3-day seminar, a 2-day seminar, a half-day seminar, a full-week seminar, learned all these great things, but then they got back to the office on Monday morning, they had those phone calls to return, they had that paperwork to take care of, and they never really did apply it. And so that's what I mean by struggles. I certainly know some agents who themselves have got involved in real estate activity and lost some money and then just lost belief, etc. So from all of that, I want to share with you some of the things that I think you can learn from. Here's what success looks like. These are literally some Century 21 agents from across the country, and they are truly from across the country. You see on your far left, Jerry, excuse me, Andalina. Jerry is an agent in a market. She lives in a town that, are you ready for this? Has 1,700 residents. 1,700. It's an incredibly small town. You know how many transactions she had last year? 255. 255. She clearly reaches outside of her neighborhood. Oh, I'm sorry, here's the important thing. She lives on an island. That island has 1,700 people. She's a great example. And you can see here from across the country. In Oklahoma City, Mary Berry, actually she participates in a team of 2 of them where they did over 1,000 units. It's from these people that I am going to share some great examples. What's the key to their success? It's really simple. I want to give you the first one. There's nothing technology about this, but as you think about embracing technology in marketing, I would strongly counsel you to start with this. What's your vision? What's your plan? I'm going to suggest that most of you probably do have a vision, but what's typically absent is the plan. And I know as well as you know that there is no rocket science in these words that I'm sharing with you right now, right? But I think it is sobering, and I think it is important, and I think it's worth emphasizing for you. before you get too overwhelmed or too excited about this great technology and this great app, make sure you know where you're going with it. You know, your vision can be as simple as, are you looking at, as I chatted with Craig earlier today, are you looking at your adorable 5-year-old daughter and thinking about, I want to make a world of opportunity available for her. I want to be able to fund college for her. Or are you thinking about that retirement home that you've yearned, you've looked at for years and years, and now it's almost time. You just don't have the money. What's your vision? What are you working towards? And then the second piece, the more important, and the part that I think is decidedly absent for a large majority of agents, but is absolutely necessary, is what exactly is your plan? Clearly, you got to decide that. What is your vision? Right now, reflect on that. What is your plan? You do have a vision and a plan, don't you? Okay, if you don't, I want you to think about that first. If not, the second thing that I see clearly from our most successful agents is this. They have a very clear understanding of current market trends. And I hope that the trends that I've shown here on this slide right now, you're yawning at. I hope every one of you knows these, because there's nothing new in rocket science about this either. But everybody's online for home buying right now, right? So I hope no one in this room is doing the, that website stuff's going to go away. I still talk to agents who say that. I really do. Oh, don't tell me to get online, Bev. Oh, don't tell me about I need a website. That's silly. Nobody's going to be doing that much longer. It's crazy, guys. Of course they are. Websites are so passé at this point. Real estate-related searches on Google continue to grow dramatically, right? And here's the favorite one. You're going to hear a lot today, again, a little after me, from Stephen Schweikert about videos and how important they are. And they, by the way, have done a great job for us at Century 21. Videos are important. How many agents use videos in their property listing? Less than 1% of agents across the board. That's pretty amazing. Here's some others. Conversations are now online for all ages. I talk to a lot of agents who are not that successful who say, oh, it's those young kids, but you know what? I specialize in baby boomers because, that's my demographic, so that's who I'm working with. Well, guess what? They're online too. All ages are online. The question is, what type of online are they? What platform are they on? You got to know that. Email is so old school, right? Video is what's in. Clearly, there are going to be people who continue to communicate via email, but as you heard earlier, what's the receipt of your emails? How many people are really reading those emails, right? So remember that. Clearly, folks have gone mobile. They're not just using their phone, for phone purposes at all. They're transacting business. You got to be in the middle of those conversations. Our really strong agents are very clear when they communicate with me, and they say to me, Bev, the classic advertising just doesn't break through for me anymore. WOM is word of mouth. Word of mouth is everything, and consumers accept word of mouth with a dramatically increased level of authenticity than they do any other source. That's why that social proof, those agent ratings, that social proof on those platforms of an agent's strength is incredibly important. A lot of agents say to me, oh, no, I don't want anything to do with those sites, and I certainly don't want, my corporate brand doing anything with those sites. But guess what? Those sites are what consumers are paying attention to. Think about yourselves. Not real estate, but in other categories. Don't you rely heavily upon those ratings that you get from the social media platforms? Well, guess what? So do consumers for real estate. So clearly, we're here at a technology conference. I agree that technology is exploding. But before you embrace it, make sure you've got a vision, a plan, and you understand how the current trends relate mostly to where you want to go to. Because the question is, how do you want to break through? What's the niche that you want to have, your personal niche? My counsel to you is pick that one point of excellence that you want to have. Whether it's that one neighborhood that you want to focus in or that it's that one capability. And I'm going to tell you something that I think most of the leaders at this technology conference would even tell you are old school things, but I'm going to give you examples of agents who use them. I would suggest that you look at any one of these three technologies, and I want to share with you a little bit about some of our agents who use them. You know, video, you heard a little bit about it this morning, you're going to hear a little bit more. How many of you are literally actively using video? How many of you are known in your office as being the go-to person on how to market a property with video? Not technologically the best video, but how do you use it in marketing appropriately? There's one. Good. And it may not just be a property video, right? It might be a video of the neighborhood. It might be a video of a capability. It might be a video about how to get your home ready. We, Jerry Andolino, the one that I told you, she's in the island. Actually, she's in the Buffalo area. Puts out a video every single Monday morning. Come hell or high water, doesn't matter how bad the weekend was. Every Monday, everybody in that town knows that Jerry's video is coming out. That's how she sold 255 homes in that neighborhood. Everybody goes to see her video because what she does is she gives sort of a neighborhood update. And it's not a neighborhood update on just what homes are for sale, but, oh, by the way, she includes that. She includes the information on what happened with the basketball team last week, where that star football player signed to go to college next year, and what's happening with the local mayoral campaign. Literally every Monday, she gives a report on what's going on all around town. She also reaches outside as well. She knows because she tracks where her property viewers are coming from, so she'll give news from particular towns that she knows people are coming from or moving to. So people that are leaving her area, people that are coming to her area. That's how she became a market leader. Website. Now this is interesting because you probably think that what I mean is your own website. To be honest with you, one of the things we struggle with a lot is agents utilizing websites. Agents aren't all using websites. But our strongest agents, what we've learned clearly from them is not only do they have their own website, but they are capitalizing on every other real estate website. So think about that as the Zillows, Trulias, Realtor.coms of the world, and think about how you position yourself uniquely there. For our brand in particular, we offer that showcase listing. But my point is not that you have to have that. It is that you have to know how your listings are showing up on each one, different from one another, and how to maximize that. You need to know that Trulia is selling space next to your listing to a competitive agent. That's different than what you're going to find on Realtor.com. You've got to know those things and use those websites through and through. So we have an agent out of actually College Station here in Texas who utilizes those websites phenomenally effectively for her success. And then the last one that I would cite is, of course, social media. A lot of our agents are in the space on social media of, you know what, I'm just going to wait, it's going to change. You know, it was Facebook, now we're moving into Instagram and, you know, these other things. I'm just going to wait and I'll learn something, you know, at the end of next year because I'm way too busy right now. I got enough business right now and then I'll learn it later. I would tell you that, like anything, that's not a good idea. Social media is nothing more than relationship management, right? It's just communicating and building relationships. We have a group of agents in California. They are not a team. They are a group, meaning they work in the same office, that decided that they really just didn't get this social media stuff. They really needed help. And it was almost like an investment club coming together. So they met, I think they meet every Tuesday. Their inspiration was, if you know that book, Tuesdays with Morrie. So they said every Tuesday morning. So every Tuesday morning they got together for 2 hours. And it was a group of, it started out, I think, with 17 of them. And like week 3 or week 4 in, there were 2 people who didn't show up. Well, you know what? 14 others of them got on the phone. They didn't have their meeting until they tracked them down. And you know, one of them they didn't even get that day. And they literally kept calling every hour on the hour. Well, guess what? Those folks didn't miss the meeting the next week. But that group has now grown from 17, and it's approximately 34 now. And the only requirement for that group is you've got to show up every Tuesday. And if you don't, you're not welcome the next week. You can return the week after that, but you're not welcome the next week. They're forcing the collaboration amongst one another. And now here's the most interesting thing about this group. There's not a single member of that group who's younger than 55 years old. They're forcing one another to learn social media, and they're learning great technologies because they decided that that was a space where they needed to develop a niche. So that's what they're doing. So clearly, what they're learning and they've benefited from is something that, he escaped me, Peter, what's Peter's last name? Brewer, thank you, tells us, and that is this. All those prognostications about real estate agents being trumped by technology and people aren't going to need you anymore, that's not true. But here's what you need to know is true. You can be trumped by another real estate agent who understands how to use technology effectively. So don't ignore it and don't try to take it all on. Try to find that one area that's going to be your point of excellence and work it and work it and work it to your benefit. Once you've mastered it and you're known by both your current and prospective clients and your colleagues as being the expert in that area, then consider moving on. But don't try to embrace it all. Go back to your classic, marketing rules, guidelines, etc., and use that to your benefit. There's a couple other things some folks in my office wanted me to share with you, so I'm going to give you this. You guys know this already, though. Even aside from technology, use and develop a systemic approach, right? So if your systemic approach is let's say you're going to be the photography expert. That's what you've decided. I'm going to have the really strong photos. Then just use that system. Break it down, decide how you can deploy it most effectively, and do it on a regular basis. Our most effective agents do absolutely invest in marketing. In addition to anything that we do from a national perspective, they make their own investment locally. You have to make that decision on what's right for you, but don't think that it doesn't pay huge dividends for you. No shock, on top of technology, you got to care about those clients. George Shaw said it best. The best actors are the honest ones, and the ones who can fake it are the really good ones. But the truth of the matter is, as well as I, you can't fake it. So use technology within the sphere that you're comfortable with, pick your single point of excellence, and have a great 2013. Thank you.